They told you slaves built the pyramids, they lied. They said it was built with simple tools, wrong again. For 4,500 years, no one could explain how it was really made. But now, we finally know the truth, and it changes everything. Who really built the pyramids? No, it wasn't aliens. And it wasn't slaves. Let's tell the real story. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, built 4,500 years ago. And to this day, we don't fully understand how. But here's what we do know. And it's shocking. The builders weren't slaves. They were skilled workers. Paid. Federal housed. Respected. Archaeologists even found bread ovens, medical tools, beer jars. Does that sound like a slave camp? They were called Kemu, the elite workers of Egypt. And they were proud of what they built. So how many were there? We once thought 100,000. But new evidence says 20,000 to 30,000 men. That's all. They worked in rotating shifts, like modern construction teams. 8-hour shifts, 10-day rotations. They weren't forced. They were organized. And how long did it take? Just 20 years. Not 200. Not 100. 20. But the biggest question is, how did they move those massive stones? Each block, 2.5 tons. Over 2 million blocks. Cut, shaped, moved, stacked. And not one crane. Not one truck. So how? Here's one answer. Wet sand. They poured water on sand in front of sleds to reduce friction. Simple. Smart. Egyptian genius. But how did they lift the stones? One theory, ramps. Big, straight ramps. Or spiral ramps. Some say a huge spiral ramp was built around the pyramid as it rose. And it was dismantled afterward. That's why we don't see it today. But there's more. The pyramid is aligned almost perfectly to true north, with a margin of error of just 3 arc minutes. That's more accurate than most modern buildings. How did they do that without GPS? They used the stars. They tracked the North Star and others for perfect alignment. Their tools? Strings, plumb bobs, shadow sticks, low tech, high skill. Now, let's talk about the stones. The white casing stones were made of limestone from nearby. The core stones came from quarries around Giza. But the granite for the king's chamber? That came from Aswan, over 800 kilometers away. And each granite block weighs 60 to 80 tons. They floated them down the Nile. Yes, floated. Think that's all. Wait. The pyramid's foundation is perfectly level, across a site the size of 10 football fields. The difference in height? Only 2 centimeters. That's insane. But why did they build it? Not just for burial. The pyramid wasn't just a tomb. It was a symbol of power, of the afterlife, of the pharaoh becoming a god. Inside, the design is even more mind-blowing. The Grand Gallery, the air shafts that point to stars, the precision of the king's chamber. All of it had purpose. Some believe it was part of a spiritual machine. Others believe it had energy functions. That's still debated. And what about the Orion theory? 3 pyramids of Giza match the stars of Orion's belt. Coincidence? Maybe not. Ancient texts link the pharaoh's soul to the Orion constellation. But here's what most people miss. This wasn't just about one pharaoh. The pyramid was a national project. Farmers worked on it during the flood season, when the Nile covered their fields. It gave them income, purpose, pride. It united Egypt. And yes, the workers left graffiti. Funny stuff. Nicknames of their crews like the Drunkards of Menkaure or Friends of Khufu. That's real. Still there today? The builders were not nameless. They were heroes. They lived, ate, laughed, bled, built. So next time you look at the pyramid, don't think aliens. Think of them. They built it with math, with sweat, with teamwork, with vision. This was the internet of its time. A structure meant to connect earth and sky, king and gods, life and afterlife. And you know what? We still don't fully understand how. But maybe that's the point. It wasn't meant to be easy to understand. It was meant to last forever. Let's go deeper, because the Great Pyramid hides more than just big stones. It hides secrets. For years, we thought we found all the chambers, but in 2017, something shocking was discovered, a hidden void above the Grand Gallery, at least 30 meters long, totally empty. No one knows why it's there, and no one has even entered it. It was discovered using cosmic rays. Yes, cosmic rays. Scientists used muon scanning to detect changes in density, and boom, they found a giant hidden space. So what's inside? Some believe it could be another burial chamber. Others think it was a clever way to reduce weight and stress on the structure. Truth is, no one knows. We're still guessing. And here's another mystery. There are no writings inside the Great Pyramid. No texts, no drawings, no hieroglyphs, nothing. Why? Because the structure itself was the message. It wasn't built to be read. It was built to be felt. It was a declaration. We are eternal. Let's talk about the math. This part gets wild. The pyramid's original height was 146.6 meters. Its base, 230.3 meters. Divide the base by the height, and you get approximately 3.14. That's pi. Coincidence? Let's keep going. Add all four sides of the base to get the total perimeter. Now compare that to the pyramid's height multiplied by 2. What do you get? A number close to the golden ratio, 1.618. These numbers weren't random. The builders didn't just stack stones, they encoded knowledge into them. They may not have written it down, but they carved it into stone forever. Now look at the erosion on the Sphinx. There's water damage. But Egypt is a desert. So where did the water come from? Some experts believe the erosion is proof of heavy rainfall. Rain that hasn't fallen on Egypt for over 8,000 years. If that's true, the Sphinx could be far older than we think. That would shake the entire timeline of Egyptian history. And there's more. The layout of the Giza Plateau is not random. The three pyramids are placed with perfect precision. Angles, distances, even their heights matter. They align with the stars, especially Orion's belt. They align with the Nile. They align with each other. This is no accident. It's like a cosmic map, a master plan. Now let's bust another myth. Pyramids only exist in Egypt? Wrong. Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt. Mexico has pyramids. China has pyramids. Peru, Indonesia, all over the world. Different cultures, no connection, but the same shape. Why? Because pyramids work. They're stable. They're powerful. They last forever. Some believe the shape holds energy. Others think it's just brilliant engineering. Either way, it worked across continents, across millennia. Back inside the pyramid, let's talk about the King's Chamber. It's built from solid granite blocks, each one weighing dozens of tons, and they fit together perfectly. No mortar, no gaps. You can't even slide a credit card between them. Above the chamber are 5 hidden spaces called relieving chambers. Layers of stone beams built to protect the chamber from collapse. This wasn't trial and error. It was advanced planning. It was genius. And finally, the logistics. How do you feed 20,000 workers for 20 years? You build a mini-city. Archaeologists found bakeries, cattle bones, beer jars, even a hospital. These workers weren't starving slaves. They were respected craftsmen. When they died, some were buried near the pyramid with honor. Their graves are still there, close to the monument they helped create. That tells you everything. Now let's talk about the tools. People think, no iron? Then they had nothing. Wrong. They had copper chisels, bronze tools, wooden mallets. Because the stone blocks still fit so tight, you can't even see the seams. But cutting stone is just the start. You also need to transport it. So how did they do that? Let's go to the Nile River. It was their highway. Stones were loaded on wooden boats, floated downstream, then pulled on sleds, with wet sand in front to reduce friction. Sounds simple? It was brilliant. Even today, engineers test this method, and it works. Now let's look at the layout of the pyramid complex. It wasn't just the pyramid. It was a city of the dead. Temples, causeways, satellite pyramids, tombs for queens, a ceremonial port, all placed with meaning. Every stone, every angle, deliberate. The causeway connected the pyramid to the valley temple, a long ramp for funerals, symbolizing the king's journey from earth to heaven. Let's go back to the pyramid itself. The outside was once covered in shiny white limestone, polished smooth. It reflected the sun. From far away, it looked like it was glowing, like a beacon. Today, that outer casing is gone. Earthquakes, looting. But imagine how it once looked, blinding white. Perfect angles, shining like a star. Now here's something weird. Each side of the pyramid isn't flat. It's slightly curved inward. Engineers only discovered this with aerial photos. Why did they do that? Some say it was structural. Some say it was optical, to make it look even more perfect. Either way, that's advanced thinking. Let's go higher. To the tip, the capstone or pyramid ion. It's missing now, but it once crowned the top. maybe covered in gold, to shine like the sun god Ra. Where is it now? Lost, destroyed, or buried? We may never know. But what we do know, the pyramid's total weight is over 6 million tons. It covers 13 acres, and it's still standing, perfect, unmoved, even after earthquakes, even after floods, even after 4,500 years. That's no accident. That's precision. So was it aliens? No, it was humans. Real people. With brains. With hands. With passion. And they didn't just build something big. They built something that tells a story. So what did the pyramid really mean? It was more than a tomb, more than a symbol. It was the center of everything. Religion, power, astronomy, mathematics, politics. The pyramid was Egypt. It told the people, the pharaoh is not just a king, he is a god. He controls life and death. By building something eternal, the king becomes eternal too. The pyramid sent a message, I will never die. I will rise, and you will remember. And here's the crazy part, we still do. After 4,500 years. Now look at the builders again. Many were young men from farms and villages. But they didn't just carry rocks. They carried a dream. They believed this was bigger than themselves, bigger than the king, bigger than life. They were part of something divine. And when they died, some were buried beside the pyramid. Not as slaves, but as heroes. This was unity. A whole nation moving stone by stone for a single vision. And it worked. Because no matter what you believe, the pyramid still stands. Tall, powerful, silent. It watches time pass. Empires fall. Generations come and go. But it remains. Now here's one more twist. Some scientists believe there may be more hidden chambers inside. We've only explored a small portion. There could be passages, rooms, or even artifacts still sealed inside, waiting. We've used robots, scanners, infrared cameras, and we're still learning. The pyramid is not finished revealing its secrets, and maybe it never will, because the real power of the pyramid is not in what it tells us, but in what it makes us ask. How did they do it? Why did they build it? And what does it mean for us? Maybe the pyramid wasn't just built for the dead. Maybe it was built for the future, for us, to remind us what humans can do, with no machines, no electricity, just vision, skill, and time. So, who really built the pyramids? People, but not ordinary people. They were dreamers, builders, mathematicians, artists, engineers, believers. They didn't just move stone, they moved history. And when we stand in front of it today, we're not just looking at the past, we're looking at what we're capable of. So next time someone tells you, we'll never know how they did it, you tell them, we do. And it's more impressive than aliens. Because it was us. And if you made it this far, you're one of the curious ones. The kind of person who doesn't settle for surface answers. You want to dig deeper. And that's what we do here. So if you want more mind-blowing history, more secrets, more truth buried in stone, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell. Because what's coming next will change how you see the ancient world forever.